Good evening and welcome to Worldwide. And let's start the show as I bring you the latest development from around the world with the in-depth analysis for the same. Let's start with the parliamentary row. As the inauguration day nears, opposition goes into a bonding session. Prime Minister Modi today indirectly aimed at the opposition by citing the unity of Australian political parties in welcoming him and showing a united diplomatic front. The Home Minister and the BJP today lashed on Congress for making excuses as they themselves in power did inaugurate various Vidhan Sabhas and part of Parliament without the presence of governors or the President in the respective states. BJP also claims the whole opposition is against the inauguration just because the Parliament was made by the Modi government. The opposition, on the other hand, is furious that the President should be the one inaugurating the Parliament House and not the Prime Minister. Some opposition leaders have even went on and said that when the current BJP government is ousted from power, the new government will not use the new parliamentary building and will continue to use the old parliamentary building. And some opposition leaders have been seen taking middle ground by critiquing the opposition for boycotting the inauguration, and they themselves are showing their inability to attend as for the prior appointments. In my opinion, the opposition does not want to give even a pin-size publicity to Mr. Modi as his party as 2024 election nears. They have even asked the directions from the courts to postpone the inauguration and deliberate on whether Mr. Modi's act of inaugurating the parliament is even constitutional. Moving on, the Sengol, which is to be kept in the Lok Sabha and is right now residing in a Allahabad museum, on which today the whole news channels were having a great bout amongst the ruling party BJP and the whole opposition axis. The opposition has been claiming that Mr. Modi is trying to appeal his Hindu vote bank by using a Hindu religious artifact in the parliament and say that such a thing should not be tolerated in a secular state like India. In turn, the BJP is attacking Congress for losing the symbol of power for which the people of India fought with blood and sweat, the symbol of power that embodied the power to shape the country by its people and for its people, and just labeling it as a walking stick in a museum. The Sengol, in past, served as a symbol for the soon-to-be free India of unity of North and South, and served as a reminder by the people of India to its new leaders to rule with wisdom and always uphold justice. With reintroduction of this Sengol, the Prime Minister is trying to fill the gap that is forming between North and South. Moving on, there is a milk war intensifying between Amul and Avin as Amul tries to enter the Tamil Nadu market, and local leaders fear unhealthy competition and competition for resources. And moving on, many ponder over the 2000 note ban and the claims by the BJP workers and BJP spokesperson of curbing black money, as notes are being exchanged without any identification and without any performer or anything like that. And it is also a point to ponder is how would the banks be enforcing the 20,000 rupee exchange limit that RBI has imposed per transaction. Member of the party of BJP has went to court regarding the same matter and asked for the court's direction to direct RBI to implement identification for the purposes of exchanging notes. And news from Indian Navy, a very proud moment for our Indian Navy and for us Indians. Indian Navy today had completed a trial for landing MiG-29 on its INS Vikrant carrier in night conditions. And Russian threat deepens for Ukraine as NATO openly denies NATO membership to Ukraine during the time of war. Also, US suspects Ukraine special forces hand behind the Kremlin attack. This attack, Russia has been claiming that US has hand behind this and is was the main puppeteer and for the drone attack on the Kremlin. And a footage was released today by the Russian military and in the Belgrade region, where there was a recent insurgencies in the border town of Belgrade. In this video, it is being seen there are US Humvees, which has stumped the US, and with this they reacted with a statement giving as such that they do not support any action taken in the Russian territory, but they do support US right to defend its own territory, Ukrainian right to defend its own territory. Sorry. These actions by Ukraine forces could make support for them dwindle from the West, as they do not want to directly confront with Kremlin. The Wagner Group has announced their complete victory over Bakhmut, and they are handing off the territory by the 1st of June, whereas the President of Ukraine, Zelensky, is refuting these claims and saying that the Ukrainian forces are well in control of Bakhmut and they are fighting for it. As you can see, these are the Humvees that has been shown in the released Russian videos. And moving on, US debt ceiling crisis still looms as House Speaker says meeting were productive but not progressive. Indians are again in the political arena, this time in the US presidential race. Two candidates from the Republican party are running for the US presidential seat for the 2024 election. Moving to European Union and Europe, Germany officially goes in recession as food and oil prices climb with their friend inflation. Seems like Russian sanctions are haunting EU more than Russia. Sweden gets an ultimatum from Russia to pack its bag and leave by the 1st of September, as 5 of its diplomats were booted in an act of tit for tat. Russia too will close its embassy in Sweden by the same time. And are Australians really not that trusting India and the relation between them? As we remember, there was a grand reception for our Prime Minister Modi, and while he returned India, a retired diplomat had given a statement, has written a column in which he says that keeping hopes with India might lead to the same path as China and Indonesia. Even some media houses, while Prime Minister Modi was in Australia, reported that Modi is an unpopular leader among the Muslims and the Sikh minority, and interviewed Khalistani supporters who went on to say, "How dare Modi step in Australia, the land of free?" The one side, the government is welcoming Prime Minister Modi, and on the other side, the Australian media goes on and gives stage to these separatists. People should know the difference between an expansionist and repressive regime and countries like India, who if could not pay your hospital bill, but would certainly be the first to give you first aid and get you admitted to the hospital, and not leave you and go on to plunder while you watch helplessly stuck in some trap. Thank you. Let's meet again tomorrow for the next happenings and the news. Good night and have a great day next day.